Good morning students. Today I am going to show you a program in Java practically using the NetBeans interface to add the title of a person from a listbox control and the name of the person from a text box control into a third control known as the text area control. Now I shall show you the step-by-step procedure for doing that. But before that, let me first minimize the notepad window. Now the very first thing that you have to do is to search for the icon NetBeans IDE. Now here in my desktop, this is the icon NetBeans IDE with version 8.2. Now I shall double click on this icon, and on doing that I shall see the loading screen of NetBeans IDE. And once the loading process of NetBeans IDE gets completed, you can see the startup screen of NetBeans IDE version 8.2 exactly like this. Now, before writing your Java program, at first you have to create the Java project. Now for creating the Java project, just bring your mouse cursor over here into the menu section, and out of all the possible options in the menu section, choose the option file. Just click on file, and on doing that you shall see a new drop down menu getting displayed, and out of all the possible options in the drop down menu, choose new project. Just click on new project, and on doing that you shall see a new window getting displayed exactly like this. The title of this window is new project. Just come inside this window. Under the categories section, choose Java, and under the project section, choose Java application, and then come below, hit the next button, and on doing that you shall see another window bearing the title new Java application. Inside this window you have to specify the project name. By default the name of your project is Java application 13. Now I am going to remove this default project name, that is Java application 13, and then set my own project name. Let my project name be my train project. So here is the project name, that is my train project. And once you have specified this project name, just come below, you will see a checkbox like this. By default this checkbox is ticked, and when this checkbox is ticked, a main class shall be created for the project. But I don't want the main class to be created for my project. That's why I will uncheck or untick this checkbox. And after doing that, I will just come below and hit the finish button. So here it is. The project that I have created gets displayed here under the projects compartment. The projects compartment displays all the available list of projects. Now that I have created only one project in Java, which is my train project, that's why only this particular project gets displayed under this projects compartment. Now the next thing that I will do is bring over my mouse cursor onto this project, right click on it, and on doing that a new menu gets displayed like this. I will select new, and after selecting new, another menu gets displayed like this, and out of all the possible options in this menu, I will choose JFrame form. And on doing that you will see a new window getting displayed exactly like this. The title of this window is New JFrame Form. Inside this window I have to specify the class name for this form, that is new JFrame form. Now by default, the class name for this new JFrame form will be new JFrame, but I am going to change this and supply my own class name for this new JFrame form. Let the class name be my train project class. Okay, so here is the class name, my train project class. And once you specify the class name for your new JFrame form, come below and hit the finish button. And once you have clicked the finish button, you can see that the JFrame form that you have recently created gets displayed exactly like this. Initially the size of this JFrame form is too small, but you can increase the size of this JFrame form by dragging its ends with a mouse cursor. Now the size of the JFrame form has increased considerably. And once you have increased the size of this JFrame form, you can easily place the controls under this palette section onto this JFrame form. Now read the question. The question says, write a program in Java using the NetBeans interface to add the title of a person from a list box. So for title, you will need a label. Now I will need two controls. First one will be the label and the second one will be the list box. So drag the label control from the palette section onto your JFrame form, and after that drag the list box from your palette section onto this JFrame form. By default, the name of your label is JLabel1, and the text of your label is also JLabel1. Now I wish to change the text of my label to title. So for that, just I will make the mouse cursor hover around this label and right click on it. Then I will choose properties, and after choosing properties, you will see a window like this gets displayed for this label control, and the name of this label is shown here. This is JLabel1, but the text of the label is also JLabel1, but I need the text of the label to be title. So instead of JLabel1, I'm going to put title here. Okay, and after doing that, just click close. Now next thing that I have to do is to change all the elements of this list box from item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Mr., Mrs. and Miss. This is because the title of a person can be only Mr., Mrs. or Miss. They cannot be item 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. So as this list box corresponds to this label title, so I shall change the elements of this list box from item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Mr., Mrs. and Miss. So I will right click on this list box and go to properties, and on doing that I will see a window like this getting displayed. So the name of this list box is shown here. This is JList1, and then I will go to the model section, select the model section. Now I shall delete all these elements for this list box, and instead I will put new elements as Mr., Mrs. and Miss. Okay, So these are the new elements for the list box named as JList1, and then I'll click OK, then click close. So the list box shows the elements Mr., Mrs. and Miss, which corresponds to the title of a person. Now look at the question again. Just after adding the title of a person from a list box, you also need to add the name of a person from a text box. So for the name of a person, you will need another label. So drag another label from the palette section onto your JFrame form along with a text field. Now click this label named as JLabel2. So right click on it, go to properties, and on doing that you will see the window for the label. Now the name of this label is JLabel2 as shown here, but the text of the label is also JLabel2. Now I'm going to change the text of the label from JLabel2 into name. And after you do that, click on close. As a result, the name of the label has changed into name. As a result, for the label bearing the text title, its name is JLabel1, and for the label bearing the text name, its name is JLabel2. Then come to this text field. The name of this text field is JTextfield1, but by default this text field bears the text JTextfield1, but I want to remove this text. So right click on it, go to properties. You will see a window like this for this text field. Then under the text section, delete the text JTextfield1 and then click the close button. On doing that, just click this text field. The name of this text field is still the same, that is JTextfield1, but this text field bears no text. As a result, the name of this label is JLabel1, the name of this label is JLabel2, but the text of this label is title and the text of this label is name. Similarly, the name of this list box is JList1, and this list box holds three elements. Those are Mr., Mrs. and Miss. And in the same way, this text field has the name JTextfield1, but this text field bears no text, as the text content of this text field is empty. But the name of this text field is still JTextfield1, so you remember that. Now the next thing that you will need is a text area control. This is because you have to add the title of the person from the list box and the name of the person from the text box into this text area control. So for that, just drag the text area control under the palette section onto your JFrame form. Just increase the size of your text area control. But from time to time, you also need to save it. Just go to File and click Save. Now click on this text area control. On clicking, you can see the name of your text area control here. The name of your text area control is JTextArea1, and by default this text area control bears no text. That is, the text content of this text area control is empty. Now, how will you add the content of this list box along with the content of this text field into the text area control? This has to be done only on the click of a button. So for that, just drag the button control from the palette section into your JFrame form. Now the name of this button is JButton1 as shown here, and by default this button bears the text JButton1, but I want to change this default text from JButton1 into my own text. So let the text that I want to set for this button be add. So if I have to change it to add, just I have to right click on this button and click on properties. On doing that, I shall see the property window for this button, and here I just have to change the text from JButton1 into add, and then I will click close. And just after doing that, you shall see the text for this button, which is add. Now see, just click on this button add. Upon clicking, you shall see the name of this button. The name of this button is still JButton1. Okay, the only thing that have changed is the text for this button. The text for this button has changed from JButton1 to add. Okay, but the name of this button is still JButton1. As a result, this button identified by the name JButton1 bears the text add. Now the selected content from this list box along with the entry from the text field shall be added onto this text area control on the click of an event, and that event shall be the click of the add button. Okay, I repeat, the selected content from the list box along with the entry from the text field shall be added onto this text area control on the occurrence of an event, and that event shall be the click of this add button. So as the click of this add button is an event for adding the selected content from the list box and the entry from the text field into the text area control, so the entire piece of Java code has to be written on the click of this add button. So I shall now double click this add method, and on doing that, it will direct me to this method, that is JButton1 action performed. Okay, I shall again show you. On double clicking this add button, it will direct me into this method, that is JButton1 action performed, and inside the body of this method, which starts with the opening parenthesis and the closing parenthesis, I shall write the piece of Java code here. Now inside the body of this method there is a comment line indicated by double slash. Now I shall remove this comment line and add my Java code here. Now if we have to retrieve the selected element from this list box, we have to use the getSelectedValue method using the class name of this list box. Now just click on this list box. This is the class name for this list box, which is JList1, and using this class name, that is JList1, I shall call the method getSelectedValue to retrieve the selected item from this list box. And that's why in the source I am going to write here JList1 dot get selected value. Now again, if I have to retrieve the content of this text field, I have to use the getText method using the class name of this text field. Now just click on this text field. The class name of this text field is jTextField1. So by using the jTextField1 class of this text field, I shall call the getText method to retrieve the content of this text field. So again in the source I shall write jTextField1 dot getText. Now see here, using the class JList1 of the listbox control, I am calling the getSelectedValue method to retrieve the selected item from the list box. And again, using the class jTextField1 of the text field control, I am calling the method getText to retrieve the content of the text field. Now since the selected item from the list box corresponds to the title of a person and the content of the text field corresponds to the name of a person, so there should be a space between the title of a person and the name of a person, or you can add a separator mark between the title of a person and the name of a person. So for that, in between the title of a person, which is returned by the JList1.getSelectedValue method, and the name of a person, which is returned by the jTextField1.getText method, I shall use the plus operator to add the separator mark. The separator mark that I have added is the colon, and since this is a character, this should be enclosed within inverted comma. As a result, in between the title of a person and the name of a person, there is a separator mark, which is the colon. Now this combination of the title of a person and the name of a person along with the separator mark shall be added into the JTextArea control that is here. And for that, since the class name of JTextArea control, or the class name of the text area control, is JTextArea1, that's why I shall use the class name, that is JTextArea1, call the append method to add the title of the person along with the name of the person into the JTextArea1 control, or the text area control. So the content from the list box, that is the selected content from the list box along with the content from the text field, shall be added into the text area control on the occurrence of an event, which is the click of this add button. Now you have to note one thing, is that once you have added the first entry of title and the first entry of name into the text area control on the click of this add button, then the second entry of title and the second entry of name shall not be added in the same line as the first entry of title and the name. Or I can say that just after I have added the entry of title and the name of a person into the text area control, the next entry of title and the name of a person cannot be added in the same line as the current entry. And for that, what I have to do is to place a /n character at the end. The /n denotes the end of the line, and on adding this /n character, once I have added the title of a person along with the name of that person into the text area control, and after that again if I wish to add another title of a person along with its name content, then that title and name shall not be added in the same line as the current name and title entry. It shall be added in the next line. Now I shall explain that by running the program. So for running the program, just go to run and click run project. So you will see a window like this getting displayed bearing the title run project. Just come below and click OK. On doing that, you will see the interface getting displayed exactly like this in the output. Now say I choose the title as Mr. and I specify the name of the person as, say, John, and then click the add button. Now see, Mr. John gets displayed into the text area control, where Mr. is the selected item from the list box and John is the entry from the text field, and in between the title and the name there is a separator mark which is colon. Okay, and I have shown that in the code. I have shown how I use this separator mark to separate the title of the person and the name of the person in that Java code. Now say if I wish to add another person, okay, with title and name into this text area control, then that name of the person along with its title shall not get displayed in the same line as Mr. John. It should get displayed in the next line after Mr. John. So this time let's say the title of the person be Mrs. and name as Nancy, and then click add button. Now see, Mrs. Nancy gets added into the text area control but not in the same line as Mr. John. This is because I have added the /n character soon after the text field entry. So as soon as I have added the selected item from the list box along with the text field entry and including the separator mark, I have added the /n character, so that the next entry of the person shall be added into the next line. Okay, now let me repeat. Just as I have added the selected item from the list box and the text field entry including the separator mark into the text area control using the append method of the jTextArea1 class, a /n character has also been added at the end, so that if a new person arrives, his title and name shall be added into a new line in the text area control. Now let me run the program again. Now let me choose title as Mrs. and name as Nancy, and then click add. Now the second person, let the title be Mr. and name be Raj, and then I'll click add. Now see, the next person appears in the second line, not in the first line as Mrs. Nancy. So as a result, the second person, Mr. Raj, does not appear in the same line as that of the first person, Mrs. Nancy. The second person, Mr. Raj, appears in the next line after Mrs. Nancy, and that was made possible with the help of this /n character. Okay, so with the help of this, I end my program here, and with this I conclude my presentation.